Hey there, it's me, Mr. Yellow Larva. I'm here to help you, I guess, animate. So far, I made a tutorial a couple minutes ago, and I'm about to edit it. So here's the tutorial. I hope you enjoy it. So now I do recommend the AAAAA asset files due to the fact they have good limbs, especially with both arms and legs. Some files you also should use is this one with the mouse, which that is going to be in the playlist as well. And this next one I don't actually have opened. So the reason why I added the object terror one is for the eyes. Now I do want to warn you, there is a very excessive amount of eyes. So I don't fully recommend this. I would more likely recommend the inanimate insanity one, because that one doesn't have as much eyes as the other. But we're just going to go ahead and use their eyes. But I already have that, so we can just use this for now. We are going to use something called the KFC, which there's like multiple folders where you get this KFC stuff. But the KFC in general is just for limbs and assets, like with a frame picker, which make sure to keep this in single frame. But right now we're just going to keep this mouth like this, and we're going to put it, let's just put it around here, because for this mouth, we'll talk about that later. You don't need to do what I would do, but still. So let's just put these in the front. And then we're going to get the eyes. This is the eyes for, I believe, object terror. It could be wrong. My laptop is not loading. So this is the one from object terror, which, as you can see, there is over 300 eyes. So you're going to have to go through some of them. And make sure to put this on single frame. Sometimes they forget to put it on single frame, which is very annoying. It's very hard. I would do a very unnecessary joke, but at the same time, I am literally at a pretty young age. Well, I'm almost 16, so I don't know. So we're just going to use like a different eye on this one. We're not going to use the same eyebrow. We're just going to change it a little bit. We're going to tweak it like that. So we already got the eyes and mouth done, but now it's time for the arms and legs, which this is where you get the arms and legs from. Now you may have to open them because you got to go full Dora the Explorer, because you cannot find some of the limbs because it's not easy. Now, do not put the limbs on the arm or the hand. You put them at the end of the arm so you can move it like this. Like, what if you want to rotate it to the other side like that? Like, you could make a little running animation. Now, you also put this on single frame because, yeah. Now, if you're wondering what's the two sides, why they're the same but have two different sides, we'll talk about that later. That's going to be like a different conversation. But we're going to put this in a kind of like arm. We're not going to make the limbs small, is all I'm going to say. And then we're going to copy that, paste it in place, and then we're going to flip it horizontally so we can make them equal. But this arm goes in the back, or just arranged backwards. So after we got that, we're going to put one more thing in the back, which is the legs. Now, remember, put the legs at the end, like that. Perfect. Well, I don't think you really need to see the legs in the front. And, oh yeah, we're going to end with, we're just going to go ahead and convert this entire thing into a symbol. Now, what I recommend you call it is like an idol. But I already call it an idle. And make sure you set it in graphic. Not movie clip or button, just graphic. And everything here is distributed into layers. Yeah, I'm about to sneeze. Sorry about that. Now, you can make a blank audio. A blank layer. This layer is for audio. Now, if your audio doesn't work, I recommend what I use, which is just use a waveform. So we're just gonna make this around like we're gonna just make this around like 8 frames. But we're gonna try and do this, since we're technically using like him smiling. Now the problem with these limbs, in my opinion, is just pretty much the fact that it's not easy to get through all the limbs. Like, you don't know where the most of the limbs are. So I just recommend using stuff like from like the inanimate sounding one or something like that. But that's a little different. You may have to like swap symbols, which that's pretty easy to explain later.
Hey there.
Now, I also recommend adding another kind of layer for the legs. Now, we don't need to make them this thick, but you can take these out after a little bit, but this is just what you should probably do with your legs or limbs, due to the fact that it's sometimes not easy to put the legs back in the right body. But you can take these out of the frame you can like delete the layers. But we're gonna just put them equal. We're gonna make this one a symbol. I'm just gonna call them symbols just because, yeah.
Hey.
So we are gonna add keyframes here. You don't need to press this. You can just like go insert keyframe here. But don't add a blank keyframe because that's gonna delete everything in general. So we're gonna move the legs a little bit. Now press Alt when you're doing this, because we're gonna skew them here, like at the top and stuff. Now the reason why we have those lines is actually for a good reason. It's for the fact you can move them now, like here. So now that we got that done,
Hey there, dude.
so we're gonna add another one. This is gonna be,
Hey there, dude.
this one's gonna be a little bit different, but wow, this. So after you did that, we're gonna use like an arm here for one of them. I'm just gonna use this one because I feel like it's a pretty good arm. It's actually a very nice looking arm, I would say. You couldn't deny it, it's actually nice looking. But we're gonna try to do this. We're gonna use those legs again, except we're gonna do this. Remember to press Alt, by the way, because that's actually gonna be stupid. Like, it's gonna be messed up if you forget it. So we're just gonna grab everything here and we're gonna try and put it even, something like that. I'm gonna see if it's accurate. That's close enough, I say. Let me check though with these layers. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Hey there, dude.
And then we're gonna use this to put it back in default position. So we're just gonna copy and paste these frames. Make sure to override them because it can add an extra frame if you just don't override them. So now that we got that done with, we're gonna put this back in the same position. And these arms are gonna be in a kind of in the regular position, like the straight arm. You can put them in different positions if you like, but I'm just gonna put them in a position that's a little different, like this. Now you can flip the arms if you don't have these kind of arms, but I just recommend you have them like in 2 different sides, because that would be like more like smarter to do, like clever and stuff.
Hey there, dude.
So I don't think we're gonna need this layer anymore, because we'll see.
Hey.
Now you add the eases, the tweens. So now that we're adding the tweens, so as you can see, this is what it looks like.
Hey there, dude.
Okay, so this has a little problem here. So what am I going to do with this? Nothing yet. We'll talk about it later. But now we're going to select every one of these for one reason. Eases. So you can use like built-in ones, but I'm just going to recommend some things. So here we go. Let's get started with the eases. Now I recommend making your own eases like I do. But this is what the eases would look like. We have ease in, which is like how it starts off slow and then like goes fast. This is ease in out, and this is ease out. So there's some basic stuff you can learn. But I'm just gonna use ease in. I feel like it's a good idea.
Hey there, dude.
I'm gonna move this a little bit because it looks a little messed up, and I'm gonna use ease out. Now, for some reason, ease in out kind of messes up if you put a frame in incorrectly.
Dude.
But yeah, you can also use like the default classic ease ins, but we're not gonna use that because I don't really recommend it. Really, it can kind of be messed up. Oh, so as you can see, I fixed the problem. So let's see it.
Hey there, dude. Dude.
Now, the walking animation is actually a lot more easier than you think. Like, if you want to stop him from walking, we're just going to call this guy or them, if they're non-binary and stuff. We're just going to make a little walking animation, which all you need to do is swap the symbol, which is what you can do with eyes and sometimes limbs, like legs. But you don't need to do that every time, but we're just going to use that. So we're going to start off with the first walk symbol, which I realize is in single frame. So we're just going to put this in loop, which is a little off. It's a little crooked, so yeah. And then we're going to swap this symbol later. So after it reaches this leg, right here, this is where we swap the symbol. So make sure to add a keyframe because it's going to swap the symbol on this frame, which we don't want that to happen. Then we're going to also fix that problem here due to how it messed up a little. And it's also crooked again, so if it's ever crooked, you can just like fix that, but you can use different legs. And it's also in single frame, so I need to fix that too. So now if you want them to stop walking, this is where you add single frame. So we're going to clear this one because that one is not needed. So this is where we put single frame in. And this is where we also put single frame in. So it's done.
Hey, dude.
So now, the final step is Lipsyn. Lipsyn may not look easy with all the tweens in the way because you can't really add Lipsyn in these frames. But it's actually very easy. Now, you better be careful with what eases you're using because, well, what happens is kind of wrong. But we're going to just like ease in out kind of messes up the frames when you do this, but watch.
Hey.
So as you can see, it's not really easy to add frames. Like, see, you can't go on your frame picker, but that's why you have to press insert keyframe like this.
Hey there.
Like that. So it's actually very easy. So you can also do another thing, which is like pretty much like make every one of them in the frame by frame animation, but you don't need to do that if you want to do this.
Hey there, dude. There, dude.
I also recommend adding another frame for this,
Dude.
like for that, because it makes it like go near the end. So yeah,
Dude.
let's see it.
Hey there, dude.
Now what if you want to make your character move like that? So, we're going to just fix this problem here. So we're going to first off remove that one because it's a different character. So this one's actually a lot more easier. You got to keep them in different layers. Like I said. You got to find the part where he stops in one part. Which is that frame. And we're going to make a move here. And we're going to find out where he starts walking, which is right here. And then let's do this. So, careful with the onion skin sometimes. It can kind of mess this up. But here we go. Looks like I realized I did kind of mess up. If you didn't notice, he kind of like hovered a little bit. So I'm just going to fix that and put it on this part and see how that goes. And we're done. Now, if there's no audio, you can just add another layer and add the audio. These keyframes can kind of mess it up, but here it is.
Hey there, dude.
And there you have it.